In this video, I explain how the First World War was triggered by tensions and alliances in Europe and which events further fueled the conflict. You will learn how the war affected the lives of soldiers and civilians and what consequences it had for the world. Years before 1914, there were problems between the countries of Europe. Many wanted more power or colonies. The race for strong armies and influence made the situation tense. It felt like war could break out at any moment. The Balkans was a restless region with many small countries. There were frequent disputes and conflicts. Especially Serbia and Austria-Hungary had problems with each other. This region later became the trigger for the war. Before the war, countries formed alliances. Germany and Austria-Hungary formed the Central Powers. France, Great Britain, and Russia became the Entente. These groups later dragged many nations into the war. On June 28, 1914, the Austrian heir Franz Ferdinand was assassinated. The assassin was Gavrilo Princip from Serbia. Austria-Hungary was angry and blamed Serbia. That was the moment that started everything. On July 28, 1914, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. They wanted to punish the assassination and weaken Serbia. But because of the alliances, other countries quickly got involved. The conflict grew bigger. Shortly after the declaration of war, countries called up their armies. This is called mobilization, and it happened very fast. Young men were drafted and sent to the front. Nations everywhere prepared for battle. Germany supported Austria-Hungary and declared war on Russia. Shortly after, fighting also began against France. The German plan was to defeat France quickly, but it didn't work, and the war dragged on. In August 1914, Germany marched through Belgium to attack France. This brought Great Britain into the war because they wanted to protect Belgium. The Western Front in France became an important war zone. Hard fighting began there soon. At the same time, Germany and Austria-Hungary fought Russia in the east. The Eastern Front was huge and stretched across wide areas. The weather made life difficult for soldiers there. Now the war had two major fronts. Already in 1914, soldiers dug into trenches. These long lines protected them from enemies, but life there was harsh. There was mud, cold, and little food. The war became slow and bloody. New weapons like machine guns were used in the war. They could kill many soldiers at once. Poison gas was also used in 1915, causing terrible injuries. These weapons made the war even worse. Italy was allied with Germany in 1914, but remained neutral at first. In 1915, it switched sides and fought for the Entente. Italian soldiers had a hard time in the mountains. Their efforts, however, brought little success. In February 1916, the Battle of Verdun began. Germany wanted to weaken France there. The fighting lasted for months and was brutal. Both sides lost many soldiers without a clear victory. In July 1916, the Battle of the Somme started. British and French troops fought against Germany. It was one of the bloodiest battles of the war. On the first day, tens of thousands of soldiers died. From 1915, Germany used submarines against enemy ships. These underwater boats sank merchant and warships. This angered countries like the USA. It was an important step in the war. Russia fought on the Eastern Front until 1917. Then there was a revolution in the country. The Tsar was overthrown, and Russia left the war. This helped Germany for a short time. The USA stayed neutral until 1917. Then they entered the war because Germany attacked their ships. American soldiers and resources strengthened the Entente. This was a big advantage for the Allies. Life in the trenches became harder and harder. Soldiers had to live with rats, lice, and cold. Many got sick or lost hope. The war dragged on for years. From 1914, countries used propaganda to motivate their people. Posters and newspapers showed the enemy as evil. This was meant to get soldiers and citizens to support the war. It was seen everywhere. Early in the war, people at home had little food. Everything went to the army, and cities were bombed. Women had to work in factories to make weapons. Life was hard for everyone. During the war, airplanes and tanks were introduced. Airplanes spied or fought, tanks helped at the front. These new inventions made the war more modern. They influenced how fighting was done. Great Britain was part of the Entente from the start. It sent soldiers to the Western Front and blockaded German ports with its navy. This was meant to weaken Germany. They played a big role in the war. European countries involved their colonies in the war. Soldiers from Africa and Asia had to fight. Raw materials from the colonies were important for weapons. The war became global this way. Already in 1914, children felt the effects. Many lost fathers or brothers at the front. Some had to work to support their families. Life was uncertain and sad. On November 11th, 1918, the war ended with an armistice. Germany and the Central Powers had lost. The fighting stopped, but the damage was enormous. Millions of people were dead. In June 1919, the Treaty of Versailles was signed. It set the peace conditions. Germany had to give up land and pay penalties. Many thought this was unfair. After the war, many monarchies collapsed. Kaiser Wilhelm II in Germany and Tsar Nicholas II in Russia lost their power. New governments came to power. It was the end of an era. The war changed Europe deeply. Countries had debts, cities were destroyed, new borders were drawn, and old empires disappeared. A new era began. Today there are monuments for the First World War. It is also called the Great War. Families still mourn the dead. The war shaped the world. After 1918, Europe looked different. Many countries were weakened or newly founded. The war had changed everything. People hoped for peace, but new problems arose.